A German shepherd broke the silence at an infant's funeral, but what he revealed inside the casket stunned the entire crowd. A thick morning fog settled over a quiet cemetery on the outskirts of Chicago. The only sound cutting through the stillness was the soft weeping of mourners gathered around a tiny white coffin. Thunder, an elderly German shepherd, suddenly erupted into sharp, urgent barking. His gaze locked on the wooden lid. Jack and Emily, the grieving parents, froze. Thunder had once been a celebrated police dog, steady, precise, and never prone to false alarms. If he was reacting like this, something was terribly wrong. Around 100 people had come to mourn 6-month-old Michael, the son of Detective Jack Hayes and his wife Emily. The old chapel loomed behind them, half hidden by fog. Jack stood rigid beside the grave, his face hollow with grief, while Emily leaned into him, trembling uncontrollably. Thunder lay by Jack's feet, more family than pet, especially after years working side by side with him on the force. Since Michael's supposed death, Thunder had been strangely subdued. But today, as the ceremony began, he was restless, ears sharp, nose twitching toward the tiny coffin. Jack noticed but brushed it off as stress. Father Thomas began the funeral rites, yet Thunder could not stay quiet. A low whine turned into a loud bark, then another. His body tensed as he circled the casket, agitation building. "What's wrong with him?" Emily whispered through her tears. Jack tried to soothe the dog, but Thunder only grew more frantic, digging at the coffin with desperate paws. People whispered uneasily. Something about the scene felt terribly off. Jack knew Thunder better than anyone. This dog had sniffed out hidden weapons, exposed lies, and saved lives. He didn't panic, not without a reason. "He's detecting something," Jack muttered. Captain Mark Reynolds stepped beside him. "Thunder's never behaved like this. Maybe we should listen to him." The priest stopped mid-prayer. "If the dog is reacting this strongly, perhaps we need to check." Emily shook her head violently. "No, that's our baby in there." But uncertainty flickered in her eyes. Thunder's barking only intensified. Memories surged through Jack. Times Thunder had warned him seconds before danger struck. What if this was another one of those moments? Mark met Jack's eyes. "We have to open it." The cemetery went silent. Jack stood frozen, torn between protecting his son's memory and trusting the partner who had never failed him. Finally, he nodded. "Open it." Emily gasped, but Mark steadied her. Thunder immediately quieted, watching intently as Jack unlatched the tiny coffin with shaking hands. The lid lifted. A collective gasp swept through the mourners. Inside the casket was not Michael, but a lifelike doll wearing his clothes. Emily collapsed with a scream. "Where is my baby?" Jack stared at the figure, his mind spinning. This isn't him." Mark was already dialing. "Reynolds reporting a probable child abduction. Activate a task force immediately." Thunder pressed his head against Jack's knee, as if telling him, "I warned you." Investigators swarmed in. The doll was expertly crafted. Same size, same outfit, even scented to mimic Michael. Someone had gone to extraordinary lengths to stage his death. Jack and Emily clung to each other as Mark took command. "We're finding him," Mark promised. "Thunder just gave us our first lead." Forensics confirmed the doll was custom-made. Jack remembered a case from the previous year, a violent extortion ring he had helped dismantle. Revenge suddenly seemed likely. Under interrogation, the doctor who signed the death certificate broke down. He admitted he'd been bribed and threatened into cooperating. The trail pointed directly to a criminal gang tied to Jack's old case. Though retired, Thunder became indispensable. His nose uncovered hiding spots at the doctor's office, revealing sedatives, forged paperwork, and a transport route. The team tracked the kidnappers to an abandoned warehouse, but they had already fled. Thunder picked up the scent again in a nearby empty building, then at a deserted vehicle left behind. Hour after hour, Thunder led Jack, Mark, and the tactical team across fields, neighborhoods, and forgotten backroads until they reached a remote farmhouse 30 minutes from the city. Night settled in. Jack stared at the dark structure. He's there. I feel it. SWAT surrounded the property. Snipers positioned themselves. A loudspeaker demanded the baby's release. Gunfire answered. Then, faint and unmistakable, a baby's cry. "That's Michael," Jack whispered, voice cracking. A tactical plan was formed. Thunder, equipped with a small camera, was sent in first despite his age and old injuries. He crept through shadows and slipped into the basement. Live footage showed 3 armed men and Michael in a small crib, frightened but unharmed. When one kidnapper moved toward the child, Thunder leapt, knocking him unconscious. SWAT seized the moment, firing stun grenades and breaking in. The firefight was brief. The kidnappers surrendered. Jack rushed into the room, scooping Michael into his arms. "Daddy's here," he whispered, crying as Michael reached for him. Emily arrived moments later, collapsing around them in relief. Thunder sat proudly at their side, tail wagging softly. The kidnappers turned out to be part of a larger network targeting officers involved in past investigations. Testimony exposed the bribe doctor and several accomplices. Thunder was celebrated as the hero who broke the case open. Months passed. The family healed. A special ceremony in Chicago awarded Thunder a medal for exceptional bravery. Officers applauded as Emily cried and Jack saluted his old partner. Thunder's legacy inspired a new program to train retired canines for complex cases. Life slowly found its peace again. Michael grew strong, Thunder never leaving his side. Jack cherished every moment, aware of how close he came to losing everything. The day Thunder uncovered the truth at the funeral became a symbol of unshakable loyalty and of hope reborn. 1 year later, the family gathered in their sunlit backyard. Baby Michael crawled through the grass, giggling as Thunder allowed him to tug his ears. Emily prepared tea while Jack watched the two of them with warmth in his eyes. Thunder rested contentedly nearby, gray fur shining. He had saved their world, and now he spent his days protecting the little boy he had fought so hard to bring home. Jack scratched his head gently. "You saved us," he whispered. Thunder leaned into him, tail thumping softly. Their story became a reminder to all. A dog's loyalty can alter destiny, and even in the darkest moments, Thunder had proven that a single act of devotion can bring back the light.